This is my Virga Gear Cliffrose 55-liter backpack. And I'm doing a review on it because when I was thinking about buying one, I couldn't find any reviews on the internet, or at least very few. And they certainly didn't answer the questions I had about it. I have no connection to the company. They seem like a small company that doesn't have a lot of footprint on the internet. There's nothing I want from them other than a water bottle holster. They make water bottle holsters and they've been out for a while, and I'd like to try that. The short version is I'm happy with it. I think it's really cool. I like it. There's some caveats to that though. I actually haven't taken it backpacking, but I have a lot of backpacking experience. I've probably done about 600 miles of backpacking over the course of my life, and probably another 100 miles of like winter snow ski travel, just a sort of a form of backpacking, overnight snow travel. Probably my favorite features of this backpack is how the hanging hip belt connects. This is something I didn't appreciate when I was looking at it. If you're backpacking, it's a small thing, but I often find myself leaning over. I drop my trekking pole, I need to pick something up, you have that itch on your leg, you need to slap a mosquito, and your hip belt rides up because your hip belt needs to connect to the frame of the backpack fairly rigidly. And so you lean over and it rides up, and you have to loosen your hip belt and reset it. At least for me, I find myself, maybe that's something you don't do, but it's something I do. The way the hip belt hangs, it hangs on these hooks, and so it has a certain amount of play. You might be able to see it here. There's like a popping motion where it has like almost an inch of play. So I can lean over all the way to about here and come back, and my hip belt doesn't move. And I find that really nice and really comfortable. The other thing is the top of the shoulder straps attach, as you can see, with like a hook. And I thought, oh, that'll be weak. It'll feel weird. It'll feel really jostly. What I find is I can move from side to side quite easily. The load doesn't get uncomfortable, but I get more flexibility. Like, I don't think I've ever used a full-size backpack that moves with my body nearly as well as this one does. It's really impressive. So for like scrambling, if I was doing like a technical canyoneering backpacking trip, or a trip in, say, the Sierras where I was trying to go over a lot of class 4 or class 5 passes, this would be the first choice I have. And I've owned lots of backpacks, but I currently own, I think, 4 that are this size, or maybe maybe 3. But I've owned probably like 6 over the course of my life. What else do I like? It's simple. Let me show you some of the features. Oh, yeah. Some of the other things I like. So the hip belt, like I said, it's a hanging hip belt, and I'll show that in a moment. Instead of, a lot of backpacks now are going to this double buckle system, which is cool. It allows you to tighten and lower the top and the bottom of the hip belt separately. But this one, they decided to make the webbing in a loop, which I could see being a disadvantage if you were, say, skiing and you caught this on a branch, or if you're bushwhacking and caught it on a branch. That would be annoying. But you could always tuck it underneath. That'd be the disadvantage of it. But it just makes it easier to do this one-handed. And you're pulling it towards the center of your body. So if I loosen this all the way and I shrug my shoulders, you can do this one-handed. And that's kind of like weirdly nice. Yeah, that's something I like. I will show you how the hip belt connects better. So as you can see, these are the hooks in the hip belt. It does this motion when you lean over, which is quite nice. And these buckles are much beefier than I thought they'd be. That was something I was worried about. I was like, eh. And the tabs that they clip onto are quite burly as well. I'm impressed by that. And then up here for the shoulder straps, similar kind of buckle. I wouldn't mind having a spare, but I doubt I'll ever break one. And the adjustment, there's two. There's a lower. I have to sit at the higher because I like my torso a little longer than most places will tell you to run your backpacks. And of course, one of the weird features about this backpack that I was very uncertain about is there's no load lifter straps. They're load lifterless, much like Hyperlite Gear's backpacks. But I find, and this is so strange to me, that I don't really miss having those load lifters. And that's pretty incredible that they were able to do that. That was something that I was just straight up suspicious of. And, you know, props to the guys who built this pack. They succeeded in doing something I wasn't really sure they could do. And what they've done is they've more or less made a faux box frame. So if you look down here, there's two vertical bent hollow stays down here, and they have another stay up here. It's right here, and that's horizontal. I believe these horizontal stays, there's one here and there's one down here where the hip belt attaches. The other horizontal stays here. They don't actually attach to each other. They're all four independent stays. You can take out the vertical stays down here, which would be helpful if you were traveling somewhere international or worried about, you know, someone damaging your backpack while, you know, throwing it in a airline bin or something. But by attaching the hip belt and the shoulder straps functionally to the frame, it's almost like a faux external frame or a faux box frame. Like I have two backpacks with like a full rectangular round aluminum box frame. Those are really stiff. Certainly a little bit more of a frame than this, but I'm impressed that they're able to get so much box frame performance out of something that's not a box frame without load lifters. It actually does work. They're not crazy. I've never owned a Hyperlite Gear pack. My understanding is the guys who designed this were trying to do what Hyperlite set out to do, but do it better. I think they succeeded. It's not flashy to look at. It's not like particularly eye-catching or sexy, but I think they absolutely succeeded. Another little interesting feature is this is a removable pad. You just pull it out, use it as a sit pad, and it's to protect the top of your back from these stays. My understanding is this is not the latest version of this backpack. I think they've taken these stays and I think they're wider apart now. And I think they maybe have done a few other things. I bought this backpack slightly used from a guy, and because he wanted the latest and greatest version. Let's change sides here. The pack, it has, it's this mesh that has some Dyneema in it. So it has this big back pocket back here. And I have the tag that this thing came with. So this is the size. Let me cover this guy's address up. So it's a large with a 32 hip belt, and I believe the sizing has changed somewhat. But this fabric pocket that my hand's in actually goes all the way down and underneath the bottom. And I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but you could add a piece of foam. It's double layered. The pack is made of Challenge Outdoors Ultra X400, which was the midweight Ultra. They do 200, which is what those Durston packs are made of. What is it, the Kakwa or whatever? I don't know, you're supposed to say that. And then the 800 is supposed to be so burly, so abrasion proof that I have a friend who has a small gear company. He actually makes haul bags out of it. I've never used one. it's kind of wild to me. I don't think Ultra 400 or any of the weights for Ultra are that good at stopping like poking action, but they're quite abrasion proof. Anyway, there's also side pockets that the same stuff, and they go down. They don't go all the way down. They stop down here. They do like a, this is an X-Pack, so they do X-Pack accents on the bottom just to make it pretty. And then of course, this is like shock cord. It's not shock cord, so it won't blow out. But you can strap stuff outside. And then there's all kinds of little doodads for strapping that are kind of littered all over the place. Anyway, what else about the backpack? Because the way they set up the shoulder straps and the hip belt, they're functionally replaceable. The idea being that you could wear out your hip belt or shoulder strap and then just buy new ones. I don't know if Virga has those on their website right now.
They've got Rob. Yeah.
I know, I lived with him.
They should. But I imagine that would also let you kind of change the size somewhat. Like if you lost a bunch of weight or gained a bunch of weight, you could get a new hip belt, which would be cool. And you know, if you backpack enough, the idea is the fabric's so durable that you wouldn't wear the pack out, but you'd wear the shoulder straps or hip belt off. So that's neat. It could even allow you to, I guess, I mean, if you had the same torso length as your friend, share the pack, I guess. That's interesting. I think, what else about it? Oh yeah, sizing. I think their sizing on their website is a little hard to interpret. So when I bought this, I was uncertain about the lack of load lifters and the sizing, which is why I was so slow to take a chance on one. And again, I was kind of shocked by how happy it is. Like right now, I have about 35 pounds in this, and you know, your legs and your cardio system feels 35 pounds, but I've never had 35 pounds carry so well. I've put, I think, up to 55 in it and carried it for like a mile around the block. And that was drastically less comfortable. But at 35 pounds, it's really nice to carry. I think it would stay pretty nice up to about 40, 45, and then become increasingly miserable. At a certain weight, you just want a taller frame. What else? Oh yeah, sizing. I'm 5'10". Right now I'm about 185 pounds. I'm a dude. And the large, again, I think they've changed their sizing somewhat. So I'm not sure how useful this information is, but as a context, this is the 32-inch hip belt. I have a 34-inch waist now. Yeah. One of the things I don't like about this thing, you definitely can't reach, say, a water bottle in the pockets. They made this for off-trail travel, so you're not like risking, you know, if you have a scalloped pocket here where you can reach in and grab a water bottle out, you could lose that water bottle. So pros and cons. I haven't messed around with it. I added these shoulder pockets. They sell one. These are not theirs. I think I could put a small water bottle in one of these. I think that would probably be annoying, so I'd either have to use it with a reservoir, which I'm not crazy about, or their water bottle holster, which looks slick. Like I said, I want one, but they've been sold out for forever. So, Virga Gear, if you're watching this, I want a water bottle holster. What else am I not crazy about? Yeah. Trying to think here. Yeah. I feel like I'm missing a thing or two, things that slightly concern me. But all in all, I'm really impressed. I think the only obvious competitor to this backpack, and I can't say much about because I've never even seen one, is Superior Wilderness Designs. They have more name recognition than this little company, and they make more sizes. I'd be really curious to see how Superior Wilderness Designs attaches their hanging hip belts. I have been very interested in getting a backpack with a hanging hip belt, and I've been like shocked how much I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's totally the way to go. I don't know why all backpacks don't have hanging hip belts, and I really like the connection style. I think it works and it's ingenious. Yeah, that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me. And I'm shocked I don't miss load lifters. Um, I think this pack and this pack size would be pretty much perfect for me for up to about a week, maybe a week and a half, if I was going really light and pushing it, possibly up to 2 weeks. I haven't done much pack rafting, but if I was trying to pack raft out of this backpack, I could see it being a little small, or any other sort of multi-sport thing. If I'm going to the backcountry and going rock climbing, at that point you might want something a little bigger and a taller frame and load lifters. But for something that can be stripped down and be modular, and international travel, and just that shorter compact package, this thing is genius, and it's also built to be really tough. Ultra Fabric has some reputation for delamination and not handling abrasion as well as some people say, but that seems to have been a thing with mostly earlier Ultra and Ultra 200. So I don't really know. It might have been clever to try to incorporate like some sort of like a diaper to the bottom of this backpack, like a Cordura thing that you could clip on or strap on that just took the brunt of abrasion down there, instead of the 2-layer, or in addition to the 2-layer. But I'm guessing with 2 layers, you're going to be just fine. I mean, unless you're just butt scooting down for all the time, or dragging your pack up and down a canyon, which people do in canyons. At that point, maybe it would have issues. I don't know. I just don't have that experience. But I think they did a really good job, and I'm impressed with how they thought out the details and just how well it carries. It's just impressive. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.